I didn't know how to advocate. I didn't know what to do or how to do it. From I'm scared, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Do it, get hit, don't quit, do it. Because every time I want to quit, guess what God did?
What?
Send me another fact. This is the precursor of why I retired. The job, the entrepreneurship, all that stuff wasn't important. This was the time for me to come out and be that voice.
Right.
You gotta believe, and where your help comes from ain't none of your business.
Wow.
The answers are gonna come. If you don't quit, answers have to come.
Why is it important for us to start speaking up and speaking out?
Because first of all,
What's good, Elevation Nation, and welcome to the Elevated Podcast, where we empower emerging leaders who are going after their inner tugging, their passion, the things that God has called them to do through personal development. I'm your host, Christian Johnson. Now let's go, all right? Now listen, look, today I want to talk to those of us who feel like our voice matters, right? You can put that in the comment section. As a matter of fact, my voice matters. I mean, your calling, your gift, what God has given to you, it's time to speak up about those things so that there's change in the earth realm. I'm talking about you feel like if I got some clarity and some confidence to speak to the mountains, they actually will move with the things that I'm seeing that God wants to do here in the earth realm. And so you also are at a place where that speaking up isn't necessarily easy, but your inner tugging won't allow you to stay quiet much longer. You know what I'm saying? Like those things, they excite you, yet they terrify you. You don't necessarily want the attention, but you need to speak up. You don't want the backlash, maybe. So you don't want the criticism. You don't want the social media, family or friends criticisms or things, or even what the community may think about, whatever the case, all those things. You've been processing and dealing with those things. But you have to speak up because on the other side, like God is glorified through what it is that you are seeing. So you need to go for it. If that's you, say that's me in the comment section. And I got good news for you. Well, what's that news, you ask? Listen, the good news is we're going to talk about it today. I want to have a conversation around the topic, talking through the tough stuff. I'm talking about those approaches for handling challenging conversations with family, work, in your community for kingdom advancement, and the reason that we need to go forth in those particular areas. And I have the perfect guest who is going to help us talk about it. So many things I can say about this individual, but just to name a few, he is a retired entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, a community activist, and a mentor to many. A fun fact, he's my first boss who has hired and fired me a few times. This man is a giant in the community, not only has a great message and a speaking voice, but I want to be real with y'all. I mean, the brother also can sing. I mean, he sounds just like the late, great Lou Ross. I want Elevation Nation to help me welcome to the Elevate It podcast, Mr. 𝐊𝐚𝐤𝐲 Newsuan, affectionately known as Fonz in our community. Please welcome him here. Mr. Fonz, how you doing, sir?
man, not too bad, man. After that introduction, I think I'm ready to put my jacket on and go home. Hey, man, that is fantastic, man. It's fantastic to hear your spirit and your heart as you introduce me, because a lot of times people don't know how they affect other people, man, but I sense the love from you right there, and that's some good stuff, man. So I'm honored to be on your podcast, man. Let's rock and roll with this thing.
Absolutely. And I think, publicly, you just even say you guys, we try to be transparent in that, but Mr. Fonz came into my life as a teenager, very, very young, didn't have a father figure at that time, and I remember going through a lot of the adolescence phases and stages. And so even just to speak to that, maybe you're at a point in place in your emerging leadership and you felt like I maybe didn't have the natural father figure, particular situation. If you look around, God has placed in you and around you what you need. And you guys have gotten different glimpses of what that means. And by all means, Mr. Fonz is definitely a part of who you see today, because I've learned a lot. And so thank you publicly for what you've poured into myself and many others who came through the footstop ground, right?
Well, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. So I do want to get into it. I want to allow Elevation Nation to learn a little bit more about you before we go into this particular topic. So when I say inner tugging, far as your passion, your compelling, what would you say like your personal inner tugging is at the moment?
My inner tugging right now is to serve the community and try and have an impact on people that I come in contact with and people that I don't come in contact with. I haven't always had an inner tugging. If we was to look on the outside, I would imagine people may perceive me to my inner tugging to be being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That's not it. Although that's something that I desire to do. I followed a book by a gentleman named Les Brown, who is a motivational speaker. And one of his suggestions were to write out some of your goals and dreams and, of course, post it where you can see it. But I happened to do that, and I lost the list, and I put it inside of a drawer.
Okay.
Right? The furniture was sold. 10 years later, a gentleman from my church had that dresser, and he said, Fonz, I just pulled the drawers out of this dresser, and here's a list of things that you wanted to do 10 years prior. And on that list, there are 9 things had been accomplished.
Wow.
And one thing wasn't. And the only thing that wasn't accomplished was to have an indoor swimming pool. Now, I don't know if I'm deviating from the question.
No, you could.
But being an entrepreneur is something that I was already good at.
Okay.
So it didn't take a tugging, because when I think of the word tugging, I'm thinking about something, like you said, that's not easy.
Yes, sir.
Something that you've never done before, something that takes you out of your comfort zone. See, so the selling, well, because I used to be a drug addict, so selling was my top thing. I could sell anything. I used to sell my own stuff. I was good. I was a salesman.
Yes, sir.
But it wasn't until I went through the entrepreneurial stage at Footstop, Fonzie's, this and that shop, and I came out of there, and a cause was created that set my foot on a path that I never imagined would happen. And that's the day that there was racial unrest in the school district. And the use of the N-word was forecasted on phones and all that kind of stuff. And we, the whole city was in an uproar. Everybody, the cameras, TV stations, the whole neighborhood was at the school district that one week that it happened. And I was there as well. And then the next 2 weeks, because they had school board meetings every 2 weeks. When I went 2 weeks later, there was nobody there. Nobody of color was represented there. This is a precursor of why I retired February the 13th in the year 2013. I made up in my mind at that point in time that the job, the entrepreneurship, all that stuff wasn't important. This was the time for me to come out and be that voice.
Wow.
To sit in those seats, to do what I have to do to let them know that I care. And everything evolved from that, man. And it was quite a journey. I had never done this before. I never stood for anything or anybody.
Wow.
Never ran, hid, joked, nothing. I didn't advocate for anything but my lifestyle. I didn't know how to advocate. I didn't know what to do or how to do it. But I knew I had 3 minutes every 2 weeks to go up to a microphone and tell all those powers that be that was sitting up high, looking low, school board members, how I felt about what's that's happening into our school district. I did that. I had no facts. All I had was feelings.
Wow.
The people, school board members, they scoffed at me and said, come back when you got some facts.
You got facts.
It made me feel real small. But it set me on the trajectory that almost made my journey legendary in the city.
Yes, sir.
Because I started looking and going for facts.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you how God does what he does. 2 or 3 years it took for me to make sure that the whole school board was flipped and the superintendent was gone. And during that time, by me standing up, advocating, not always doing everything right, because Lord knows there's some things I did wrong, the Lord started adding information and facts little by little by little. And every 2 weeks I would go there with some facts, some little facts, more facts. And then one day, a teacher decided to trust me with some facts. At that time, of course, if any teacher was outed, their name was exposed to this, they would get fired. I took those facts. I never exposed them. And I took all the arrows that came with me coming to the school board with facts.
Yeah.
And once they realized that they weren't being outed, all the teachers, all the information, all the stuff that was going on behind closed doors start coming to light.
Wow.
Bam, bam, bam. And now that gave birth to Live from the Stair Steps.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Viewership was like this. Not only was it that, I'm coming up with more facts. I'm learning how to research my doggone self.
Yes, sir.
Safe school reports, all those other chapter 85, where if you're in a failing school, you are allowed to go to a school that's not failing, and they have to pay for all this. It's actually chapter 12, I believe it is. But anyway, all these things that they never shared with us, that I share with them because I'm learning. And then those facts started coming to me. I'm going to tell you how the Lord works. Information about what I was doing, because now I'm still fighting this fight. Nah, I'm not fighting this fight by myself. There was a gentleman, he passed away, older guy. I'll think of his name while I'm talking. He was a fighter too. Jesus. You got to forgive me.
No, you're good.
But anyway, the word got out across Pennsylvania. The school superintendent had already failed one district, created a storm, and they had all kinds of marches. They had all kinds of board meetings about this young lady. Then they started sending me videos.
Wow.
They was letting me know you're not crazy. What you're feeling and experiencing here with your students and everybody else is what we went through. Bam. So now I got Pennsylvania sending me information. Still fighting the fight alone. Still fighting the fight. Because, it was like I was an angry black man, basically.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I had some facts. And every time I wanted to quit, which there were some times when I quit, because I took some hits. I mean, I said something. I said something over on Live from the Stair Steps. They've been listening all this time to all my broadcasts, and they took that piece. And even though I said I'm only kidding, right after I said that, they didn't want that part, so they took that part.
Wow.
They blew it up, put it in the newspapers, and they banned me from all the school districts.
Wow.
But
wow.
So that was one hit.
Yeah.
So I no longer could come on the school district, but I didn't stop fighting. I still kept broadcasting and things of that nature. So though that was the inner tugging.
Yeah.
The inner tugging, and then that springboarded me from I'm scared, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Do it, get hit, don't quit, do it. Because every time I want to quit, guess what God did?
What?
Send me another fact.
Wow. Wow. Let me pause you because you said a lot, and it's a lot of gems, or what we call on Elevated Podcast, mic drop moments. And so, guys, when you're hearing something that really either connects to your story, or maybe Mr. Fonz's story ignites you in a different way, like, you should put that in the comment section, because it can encourage somebody as well as they're reading and hearing what's going on. But if I go back from the area from, you said from entrepreneurship, if I'm hearing you correctly, you said there was a level there where I would assume you've been successful in business,
right?
So finances are flowing, influence, different things like that, but whatever was hitting your heart and your mind, a transition where you said, look, that didn't even mean as much or anything anymore. like, what was that an easy or a hard transition? I mean, you've been an entrepreneur and still entrepreneurial to this day with what you do. So, like, take me through a little bit of like that transition. Was it an easy? All right, good. I'm going. Let me go to the next thing. Like, what was that mindset? What was that?
Once I made up my mind, it wasn't hard. But to get to that point was semi-hard. But I had a little help too. Where I was renting from,
Okay.
they wanted to jack the price all the way up like that.
Okay.
My clients, they decide they'd rather be on drugs and get dressed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So all these things came into play, and I'm like, why go through this? And here's another calling right here. Do you want to struggle with this?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to let it go and go all in on it?
So it was like a door shutting and another one opening right before your eyes, and you just had to pay attention to.
And it was right on time too.
Okay.
Man, did you came to my retirement party that I had in there, right? Or did you?
No.
Okay, I had a retirement party inside of Footstop. February the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I had the boys in the band that I used to sing with.
No, I did stop through. I was there, right? We got pictures with that. Yes.
Yeah.
As y'all know, Beautiful is in the background. Lanisha's in the background.
So I had the boys in the band come up.
Yeah.
After that, I dropped the keys and I'm out.
Wow.
We ate some chicken.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring all the food.
Yeah.
We had Jeffrey there playing.
Yes.
We had a good time.
On the guitar.
Yeah, on the guitar.
Yes.
And then we bounced.
Yes, sir.
And then that was my move to the next phase of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and this is way better than selling Jordans.
Wow.
Way better. Way better.
Wow.
I have never felt so fulfilled, man. God, Pastor Dan always told me, he said, Fonz, you opening up that sneaker store was so you can get to do what you're doing right now. You know everybody.
Yes.
People know your spirit, and you've learned how to start becoming a fighter. And now, if I decide to have something, God has blessed me to such an extent because of all the different platforms and jobs and all that stuff. If I decide to have something, I have people that will invest in my vision. And it's like anything, man. People see your heart. You know what I mean? Not so much about what you say, but what you do.
Okay.
And when people see that, they are more than willing to invest in your vision and your dream, man. And you don't know who that may be, but they are out there waiting.
Wow.
They're waiting for somebody with a goal, dream, and vision because we all have different lanes. We all have different lanes.
Wow.
This guy may have the resources, the knowledge, and the money, but he doesn't have the courage or the inclination to want to stand in front of people and say what he wants to feel. But when the Lord puts them together, bam, it's a marriage that you can't lose.
Wow.
You can't, man. I got people, look, man, people give me $5,000, $6,000 and all that. Here, you want to give out scholarships? Here's $5,000. Here's $10,000.
Yeah.
You know me? And you know good and well, before I came to Coatesville in 1988, I couldn't get 50 cents to get ahead. And now people giving me money. The county gave us what, $500,000 to help people with their homes. Then $400,000 the next. I don't be in this realm if I'm still selling sneakers. Now I may be putting money in my pocket, which I wasted because I wasted millions, and I've helped some people, giving them discounts, this and that. But did you really impact somebody's life? You know what I mean?
Wow. That's wow.
I'm telling you. And the funny part is, with all the money I gave away, because I helped everybody with shoes. You know how we did.
Yes.
You know, people come there, they don't have no shoes to go back to school. We just basically give them stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Is that all the money you got? All right, give it here. Get out of here. And only 2 people, and I think about the leopard who was healed, and only one came back.
I said thank you.
Yeah, only one came back. Well, in my case, with all the millions and millions, only 2 came back. Richard and Jeffrey Washington, his present wife, because I did something for her maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And all of a sudden, she came back to Coatesville. They got married, and she remembered something that I didn't even know that I did. She said, Fonz, I'll never forget you, because 10 years ago when I needed this, you gave me this, bam, 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 bam. I was like, wow. Only 2.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how that thing works.
Wow. Well, for all that you've poured out. And for us. And so we do. I mean, we celebrate, we see it. We didn't always understand, but I'm grateful for who you are and what you stand for. I like to speak to the fighter part as well.
Oh boy.
No, because like, let's just be real. Like, it's not everybody has it the way you have it. Okay. Like, but a lot of us may not understand even where that came from or why it is the way that it is. So why do you feel like you fight so hard? Where does that
Get ready for Elevation Ships, where we go live with couples who are going after their inner tugging. What's good, fam? I'm Christian, and this is the moment you all have been waiting for. My beautiful wife, 𝐊𝐞𝐲, is joining me for co-host for Elevation Ships. Come on, somebody.
Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a financial commitment to support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. Where does that come from?
To whom much is given, much is required.
Okay.
There's a fight there's a fight out there, and my motto and my nonprofit's motto, and this is what my nonprofit was birthed on.
What's your name of your nonprofit for us to know?
The Movement Community Development Corporation. We call it MCDC. And I founded it in 2017. And I came to the conclusion that when I see a problem, it's no longer important whose fault it is, who dropped the ball. It's Fonz. What can you do to rectify what you see as a problem? How do you go? And that's where the thing with the pool started. That's when I first opened up, and that was the purpose, to try and get enough money to open up that pool. I think it was like $300,000 I needed at that time, and I think in the bank I had about $25. You know what I mean? And we started it. One of the county commissioners that we have right now was in the movement in the very beginning. And he wrote our bylaws. And I realized there was a fight because I heard a young kid over there say, man, I wish we had a pool. And me with my dumb self, I think I can just do anything with God's grace, right?
I'm going
to open a pool.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I took some hits for that. I took some hits. People don't really know because, we sold some T-shirts and it's like, man, we invested in the pool. Where's the pool? You know what I mean? $300,000. Y'all are in the T-shirt business. You know how much profit you make off of a T-shirt, right? How many T-shirts you got to sell to get $300,000 clear? So we took the money and gave it to the county. Also gave them a $200,000 grant that I received for the pool. You see, if I never come up with the idea about saying, all right, I'm gonna get you a pool, I don't get $200,000. Matter of fact, I didn't even know anybody in politics that could give me a grant like that. Wow. And Senator Dinniman gave me 100. I think it was 50,000 one time, 100,000 the next time. And the last time I was at the block party where I kissed him on his cheek, he gave us another 50,000.
Wow.
And so now I see, and I see when a fight jumps off, I believe that it's in my favor that I'm going to win. Basically because of the school district, not knowing how to do stuff, sticking and staying, believing, having faith.
Yes, sir.
Even when it was shaking, I didn't quit until the day that they had the Enough is Enough rally, which I started. I thought I was Malcolm X too. Hey, can I share a quick story?
Sure.
In the Malcolm X picture when the guy got beat up and they all was at the police station and outside in front of the police station, and Denzel Washington wanted them to see brother, whatever his name is, and they gave him a whole lot of static. Well, at the very end, Denzel Washington did this and did that, and everybody marched. Well, I wasn't allowed on the school district property, but I created a tape. I put it in the back of my car. I had my son-in-law, because I already started the rally. I already advertised it. At 6:30, I want teachers, students, community, everybody in front of that school district board meeting. And at 6:30, they knew I couldn't come on there. I'm going to give you a message. And at the end of that message, go into that school district. At 6:30, I had 𝐊𝐞𝐲 pull up in my Jeep, popped up the trunk, Dre Money gave me a big speaker.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me how to plug the tape in there. I had Michelangelo do that. And at 6:30 sharp, they played a message that I gave to the whole community.
Wow.
The teachers, everybody. And then I said, okay, let's roll. They went in there, signs, all that. It was all in the newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
And subsequently, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks later, she was gone. She was gone.
Wow.
So God can move even when you ain't on the scene.
Wow. Those mountains.
I wasn't even understand.
And it sounds like too, if I hear you, like it starts with vision. Because you're like, you had vision. The little kid had vision to see a pool. Like all these vision, the scripture even talks about that. Without vision, the people perish, pertaining to that. So I love to hear that too, because it's saying it's vision. And then also you're saying it's not necessarily easy, but as you're continuing to move forward, like God drops what you need right there. You just have to have a commitment to move forward to kind of come from there. So maybe you're listening or watching and you're hearing that and you're feeling like, yeah, I do have that inner tug. I do have something I need to speak to. I need to move forward. And maybe I haven't moved forward because I feel like I don't know where the money is, or I don't know who's going to support me. If you're hearing what Mr. Fonz is sharing as well, is like, take the step. Mm-hmm. And trust the process. Y'all know how I feel about that phrase that 𝐊𝐞𝐲 always says, trust the process, because God's going to go ahead and align those things. And I guess it's not, if I'm hearing you right, it's not about that we have to figure out all the hows and all the what. I mean, just to figure out, like, I want to take a step and keep stepping. Is that, go ahead.
You got to believe, and where your help comes from ain't none of your business.
Wow. My wow.
Where the help's coming from ain't none of your business. You ain't gonna be able to figure it out anyway, because all the help I got came from people I had no idea existed.
Wow.
You gotta believe. Oh, that could be a. You gotta believe. The believe, I believe, will cover the word faith. If you believe that you can do it, step out and do it. And you know that phrase. Step out on the first step if you can't see the whole staircase. Am I correct? Just do that, man. Leave everything else up to God, because that's the only way anything I've ever done positive has been through God's grace, vision, and inspiration.
Wow.
Because I ain't that smart. I ain't smart enough to figure this thing out.
Wow. 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 Well, can you speak to my generation, the emerging leaders that is coming up? Like, what would you say to us? You've seen, you are looking, you're watching, you're seeing people develop. There's younger voices that are coming up. What words of encouragement or instruction, or what would you tell my generation that's watching and paying attention right now?
I like what you said. First of all, your voice matters.
Okay.
Your heart and your dreams and goals matter. Our biggest problem is that we have self-limiting beliefs in ourselves to where we say we can't before we even start. If you kind of like to stop that and start grabbing hold to look around you. What does the community need? What do they need? And take it upon yourself to say, I can be the answer. You don't have to know nothing else. Where do you start? You start right here and now at the beginning with what you think, feel, and know. And through prayer, God's grace, I'm telling you, and if you don't quit, the answers are going to come. If you don't quit, answers have to come. It has to come. Man, look, foot stop. I never opened up a sneaker franchise. I got a loan, the loan pool. Coach had a loan pool back in 1992, 1993. I just got out of jail. I just finished a 20-year drug addict.
Wow.
How is Nine Banks going to lend me $136,500 to open up a sneaker store? That don't even make sense. I didn't even have a debit card. I didn't even know my credit score. I never even got into it. I was 38 years old. I never thought about a credit score. I was a drug addict.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what my credit score was then when they lent me the money. I didn't ask. I didn't care.
Wow.
But what I did do was a vision that I had, because that was on that letter that Les Brown and that guy found. I wanted to own a franchise, not a sneaker franchise, but a franchise.
Okay.
And when the opportunity came, I believed. I followed the instructions. I prayed, and I kept right on rolling. Every time they asked me to do something, Nine Banks wanted 9 different types of things for them to feel good about lending me money.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It ain't like you just did one application, from Citadel. No. And Downingtown Banks was involved in it. And you know how they feel about Coastville. I mean, come on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, Sneaker Den didn't want me to open up a sneaker store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
So, but if you believe and don't quit, who knows what can happen?
Wow. Believe and don't quit. Wow. I have to fully admit, like, and I think, 𝐊𝐞𝐲, you would jump in on that. It's a lot of things that we had started, right? But we didn't get the traction that we wanted, that we thought.
Right.
And we just quit. It's like we're gonna move it. As a matter of fact, I think my generation is one of the generations where you look at our resumes, like we got 9, 10, 11 jobs, when your generation, my mom's generation, so forth, they've stayed with one job for 40 years, retire and come from there.
That's
right?
Crazy.
So I think there's even something too, and it's a prayer that I have in my heart too, like where the scripture talks about the older pouring into the younger kind of older, like where that thing is starting to reconnect, because there's a level of wisdom that I think your generation has for endurance that we didn't necessarily get. And even hearing that area, I think for me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it was like, okay, it should manifest by now. This should happen by now. And I look back and I'm like, man, if we would have stuck with this, what would have happened? Or if I would have did this, what would have happened or whatever? I just quit. So even hearing you saying that, when we were praying, like even about this year, one of the things, even with this podcast, I was like, I did podcasting 8 years ago. Me and 𝐊𝐞𝐲, podcast 8 years ago. People weren't doing podcasting. A lot of times we were like those people in the area who did marriage ministry. It wasn't marriage ministry. Things that hit our mind, it wasn't a lot of people doing it, but we would start doing it. And then we'd see other people doing whatever, and then we would just stop.
I know. I've been following y'all for 100 years.
Right. How many businesses?
You done sold me candles. Just everything.
And we just stopped. But this thing is what I'm saying. Like, this here is what you're talking about. Like, I felt like sometimes I had to come out the pulpit, so to speak, to this becomes now the area of the conversation. We always say, like, being the microphone stand for those with the microphone. You have a platform, you have a voice, you have different things, but this is a different way of sharing. Like, I have to be consistent. So that's that part of me even saying, like, Christian, continue to be consistent, continue to not give up, and not look at what the world is saying as just success, right? Not I have 1 million followers or million this or million that, because like you said, one conversation can take this or anything else to a different level. So I know everybody's getting value, but personally, I'm telling you, I hear you.
Yeah.
And I thank you for saying that, because I'm like, well, maybe I just would have, maybe I just gave up too quick.
Well, it appears that you went full circle because you're back.
Yes, sir.
You're back. And in the area of ministry, when you say get out the pulpit, if your ministry doesn't have any social implications, then what do you really have? You see what I'm saying? So by you interviewing people, and just by people on your podcast, hearing the name Jesus Christ, God, how he has worked in normal people, because we're abnormal, we're crazy. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This may impact somebody unbeknownst to you,
yes, sir,
that could change the world.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? You're now a vehicle.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You're not a reservoir, you're more of a conduit.
Wow.
Stuff is going to be flowing through you.
Wow.
It ain't for you to hold up and store up or whatever anyway. You know what I mean? What God wants you to keep, you'll keep. And you bounce from all those things to get you to where you're supposed to be. Wow. If you want to do it in a secular world, millionaires and billionaires have started 6 and 7 businesses before they hit the mother load and finally got it right. If you want to go that way. So you're really right on track.
Wow.
The deal of this is, when you say you quit or whatever, it's important to fail and fail as quickly as you can.
Wow. Mic drop.
It's really important to fail and fail as fast as you can, because the faster you fail, the quicker you get to where you wanted to go.
Ooh. Fail quickly.
You smell what I'm cooking?
Yes. Wow.
𝐊𝐞𝐲, you smell what I'm cooking?
Yes, sir.
That's the deal. That's why you should keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Forget what people say, oh man, they always trying something, you know what I mean? And don't you internalize something that didn't work as a failure.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's just a stepping stone.
Wow.
To getting you to where you're supposed to be from the door.
Wow.
I don't know. Would you say you've been podcasting 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Before anybody was doing it? you're back.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yeah.
you can quit if you like, or you can take this as a sign. You can take this as a sign and say, Lord, thank you. Like the prodigal son.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
You're
so
living
good.
the dream. Y'all guys are living the dream.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are living the dream, man.
Wow.
Yeah, keep your dreams alive, keep your vision alive, and you take it very seriously. Because look at this setup. I was wondering where you were at when I look at it. I'm like, are they up the street? I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing these different camera angles.
Yeah.
Because you take what you do seriously. God can bless that as long as you don't quit. Because one day this is going to be boom if that's what you want.
Yes, sir. Wow.
It can be that.
Thank you. Thank you. I receive that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, let's talk, man. You got me started.
No, it's good. It's good. I really appreciate it. Look, it's been so good that I haven't stopped and told people to like, follow, or subscribe.
Man, they get them people. They be all right. They be all right. They can like it if they like it. Subscribe.
Like somebody
Yeah, they be all right.
This is good. Share it with people, man.
Yeah.
No, I love this. This is really good. And like I said, I guess I'm getting some free coaching right now. From here for what you're saying. So I guess one thing I want to say too is the area of just even speaking up. Like from your perspective, why is it important for us to start speaking up and speaking out?
Because first of all, if not us, who?
If not us, who?
And if not now, when? Now, if you're walking around with blinders and everything is hunky-dory and everything is good, then by all means, don't say nothing. Man. Just keep doing what you do. But if you see something that needs to be dealt with, you have a responsibility to try and rectify it and make it right. Even if it's just individual, giving somebody a crust of bread. If you see somebody hungry, hand them something to eat. We all have a responsibility. That's the thing. So to what level we feel like we need to do this, that's on the individual. I talked to Pastor Feathers, Scott Feathers, up there at Gateway. And he was one of the pastors at the, y'all didn't come to the march, did you?
Yes.
You did? Okay, my mom.
You good.
I interviewed him all, and there's always a thing about, well, how can we get the community together, and how can we get all the churches together, and on and on and on and on. I always hear that. And I asked him that on, I just started calling my thing a podcast. I had some sort of negative connotation that I would be trying to make my thing something that it ain't. I just wanted to call it City Town Talk, but I can call it a podcast, even though it's in my kitchen and I ain't got all this beautiful stuff. So anyway, so
can you tell people what that is after you flow? Because I want people to follow that and follow you on the City Town as well.
Oh yeah, okay. I certainly will.
Yeah, okay.
But I ain't worried about
Mr.
that. Yeah, Scott Feathers, Pastor Scott Feathers.
Yeah.
So when I asked him that question, he said, if each person in this community just invite one person into their house or do something nice for that person, then the whole community will have came together. See, because you know what I was thinking about community coming together?
What?
Let's get a big old stadium, put all the churches in, and let's try and figure out how to do some stuff together. You know good and well ain't nothing ever going to get done like that. Right. Which is why MCDC is a standalone thing. It's not a church-oriented group because, first of all, I don't need no red tape because I ain't a red tape kind of guy. When we seen that we needed kids, we should give kids scholarship money.
You gave them scholarship.
We went on the grind and started hustling. I didn't have to ask no pastor. I didn't ask no digger. I hadn't asked nobody's parents or something. Our crew just started doing what we do. When we wanted to rehabilitate houses, didn't have no red tape, none of that stuff. But that's the beauty of a small group, and as opposed, and red tape is good. I'm not knocking it, but that's the deal on that. But yeah, that's how a community comes together, by loving up on our neighbor or somebody. You don't need to all say, okay, at 10 o'clock, we're all going to get together. We're going to solve crime, or we're going to solve, you know what I mean? So I like that. And that was good for me.
That is good. So even speaking up and speaking out, like, because it's revealed to us. And if it's revealed to us, then we have a role and a responsibility to do something with that, no matter how small or large it is, if I'm hearing you correctly. That's really, really that area. And it sounds like, too, everything that you have launched or felt compelled to do as far as your there's been a community or like-mindedness that you may or may have not even know existed until you spoke up about the thing, right? Because we, those adversarial thoughts, well, you long, they start talking, you ain't this and this, all that, ain't nobody, whatever. And then you do something. And now you start to realize, like you said, people you never knew or have never had a connection with is really, that's been their heart.
Yeah. And see, the problem in the situation is everybody be waiting.
Wow.
Too much wait.
Wow. Too much waiting.
Too much wait.
Wow.
But I understand, because that's where the fear comes in. Fear of failure, fear that somebody will laugh at them, fear of this.
Yeah.
So all it takes is one or two to be able to galvanize. And the more you galvanize, the more confidence you get. But you got to be humble, and you got to make sure that you understand that it all comes from God, right? But and once you gain more confidence, it makes you step out. It makes you want to do more and be more. And you start getting addicted to helping people. You get strung out like a research monkey.
Wow.
Who can I help today? You know what I mean? That's why I can't sleep. I'm running around looking for people I can help. Shoot, what? And my body's starting to break down a little bit. So you know what God did? He said, your computer is going to be your legs. Now that you have been around for 100 years, sneaker stores, marches, and all this stuff, now you can move mountains through my grace, through your keyboard, and organize people that's more than willing to do what you say you want done.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's happening.
Wow.
That's what's happening.
Wow.
Now, there's work involved, like you do. Everybody knows I'm on Facebook too much for them. I know that. They see my posts all day, every day, always something. And now it's a bulletin board.
Wow.
Because every church, because I give them all permission, go ahead and put your stuff on my page.
Wow.
Because you're advocating for something that's good. You don't need my permission. I ain't got to look at it. And like when you're an admin to a page, you guys got to go through and check it off. No. And I just had 24 pastors on. I said, all of y'all use my page. Because that's my purpose now.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, City Town Talk is good. But no, that's the bulletin board. Most people know. A lot of people follow me. You know what I mean? And not everybody likes me. Everybody's waiting. Everybody waiting for me to mess up. But they're welcome to the page too, so you can see some positive stuff. And guess what? As God moves in our lives, they start dropping off by the wayside like scales off of Paul's eyes.
Wow. Wow. So you became the voice. Now you're even providing a platform for other people to share their voice. So now it's continuing to develop and unfold.
It's better than selling Jordans. And see, and then it multiplies.
Yeah.
It multiplies.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Those who hated at one time can see through God's grace that was crazy. It's love in there.
Yeah.
So somebody has been moved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't have to say I was wrong. Although one person came to church who's disliked me for 20 years, and he came to church one day, a person I never thought would do this, and he came up to me while I was in the choir stand singing and apologized and hugged me and said, man, I was wrong. I was getting ready to cry at that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I think I was tearing up.
Yes, sir.
And that was out without me seeking a restoration from that person. Although I always, whenever I seen him, I was always like, hey, how you doing? Trying to love up on him and stuff like that. That's how God worked, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, thank you.
It's dumb, ain't it?
No, I thank you. This is so good. And I know you're not doing this for this, but I'm going to ask you guys, this conversation, and the gems and the mic drops that, Mr. Fonz has, shared. If we sit with this and replay this, you can really see that area of that journey. He hits things far as fear, and we learned a little bit about his story and the reason of the compelling of being able to identify him, even seeing the unseen or being a voice for those who doesn't necessarily have a voice, in the area of that activist and coming from that area, looking at everything working together for good, right? Listening to a story, even hitting that, letting us all know every part, it's like puzzle pieces. God gives us all puzzle pieces. We don't know the full picture, but everybody has a puzzle piece, lays that thing down, and now we got a beautiful picture. And so hopefully and prayerfully you've been listening and hearing something that not only is going to encourage you, but at a place to let you know, we can deal with the tough stuff. Look, and through love, and through respect. And it don't have to be fussing somebody out, cussing them out, or doing those things. Standing for what it is that you believe in and being connected with those. So again, thank you for sharing your heart, your time, your talent, your treasures with us. And I actually want you to leave us with a thought that we can just take throughout the week, something that we can take, process, whatever's in your heart and mind. Don't have to be on topic or off topic, just something that Elevation Nation that we can take with us throughout the rest of this week to meditate and process on.
Okay, before I do that, I want to go ahead and do a public service announcement.
Sure.
MCDC, we are having our financial literacy classes. Will be starting February the 3rd,
Okay.
10th, and the 17th. It's for 9th to 12th graders. We're in collaboration with TD Bank and the city of 𝐊𝐞𝐲. It will be held at City Hall on Saturday, 10:15 to 1 p.m. We will supply the food. We will supply the supplies. So we encourage you to go to our website and sign up. It's limited seating, man. I'm telling you, just the free food going to bring them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you add some financial literacy in here.
Yeah,
it's going to be standing room only.
Wow. You can give me a site or something so we can put something out there for the people.
Sure.
Anything else as far as social platforms? Anything you want to share that we can find out?
We're working on our scholarships, so get ready to do y'all's. What is it that they do? We asked them to do it. Ain't much, 300 page essay or something.
Okay.
Get ready, because we're going to do it again in July. Last July, we gave away almost $20,000.
Wow.
We had the adult prom. Your mom and your dad, they danced like it was 1999. Man, I'm like, man, you don't sit down with your sweat and stuff. Y'all dark and sweaty. Come on, sit on down,
y'all
man.
watching. All right, know, right? Don't get me in trouble.
That was nice, man. Yeah, hey, look, and we got the video too, man. So that was a great time.
Yeah,
and it's good that we find different ways, hopefully for us to enjoy ourselves and still help those around us. And trust me, we start from zero, and we gave away $20,000. Not to mention a band that came from out of the state, the food country club. We spent about $50,000.
Wow,
from zero. Zero.
Wow.
Ticket sales and God just putting people in my life. I opened up my mailbox one day and there was a check for $5,000 for MCDC from a company I never heard of. It said you can spend this on whatever you want, and there was a grant. Most grants go to something specific.
No red tape.
Yeah, no red tape. Like whatever you want to spend it on.
They trust you, value you.
Wow. Okay, so now if I had to give something inspiration, now I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't really practice this because I'm a last minute fill in. He didn't say that, did he? No, keep it in there. I'm gonna show you how God can work even in a spur of the moment. Let me tell y'all, for those of you who are listening out there, I want you to start believing that you can be more than you even think that you can be, man. Don't sell yourself short. Believe in your dream, your goal. Write it down. All that, I got a dream, but you don't never put it down on paper. Forget that. Get your dream, get your goal, get your vision. Write it down. Believe, and just take this thing one step at a time. If you don't know how to start, find somebody who's doing what you want to do and ask them. Google it. YouTube it. Do something. And then just do it, man. That's the Nike thing. Just do it. That's all I got, man. I ain't that deep.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Elevation Nation, we will see you next week. Please, we'll put the social tags there to follow Mr. Fonz on social media. Please look at the things that he has offering. Anytime he opens his mouth, you need to be listening and hear some of that wisdom that's dropping. So thank you, guys. Thank you again for your time. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. The pleasure was all yours. You ain't say that, Dave. Can't take it.